Just waiting for some people to join, and then we can start to kick things off. Hello, Joe. Joe, by the way, if you would like to join the broadcast, give me a shout and I can send you a link. I would love to not just talk into the ether. So if it's at all a good time to dial in, please let me know and I can send you a link and you can join and we can talk about what has been happening in the race so far. So why not start with a weather update? So let's have a little look. So, as you saw there, the weather is largely fine. We have good weather in most of the destinations that our field will currently be, except for the folks who went to northern Germany. They found that they hadn't quite packed the right kit for that kind of challenge. But I suppose if you are making changes on the hoof, those kind of things might pick up. So let's have a look at the map to see what is going on. So over here we have zoomed in a little bit because we now have a couple of folks who have crossed over from Barcelona to Mallorca, in fact, and that took quite a while. So everyone who went to Toulon made their way to Barcelona by and large to try and connect with this ferry departing in Barcelona. There were a couple of people who spent the night in Toulon, and others who went to Barcelona to just sit and wait, essentially for that to come through and for a chance to board that ferry. Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. So I'm going to see if I can set up a little preview of the animation showing everything that has happened since the last time we were live. So let's backtrack. Let's set this all the way back to last night. I think last night we were roughly where we left it was around here, I think. No, hang on. Yes, around here. So we had a bunch of people in Toulon. We also had some travel through the night to Barcelona. We saw a fair bit of traffic towards Bayonne. It was not possible to hit Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port this early on. That was a job for this morning. And then in Chamonix, we found most people staying put, kind of having an enforced stop there. But Fernando, who's over here, he actually went to Chamonix and then cut back to Dijon. But let me see if I can show you something. So if I turn off all of the racers, and I'm just going to show David and then Fernando. Let's see if we can compare them. Oop, wrong David. Okay, so here we can see, if I back up just a little bit further, you can see that they were both in Chamonix, and then Fernando decided to go to Dijon. But in the end, let's see what happens if we speed that up a bit. They join each other again. So we can see David went south via Montpellier, and Fernando took the more direct route from Lyon to Toulouse. And in the end, they were there together. I understand they even had a meal together. So they lost track of each other in Chamonix and then connected back up a little bit later on, which is fun to see. So I think my sense is that the group who were in Toulouse really had quite a long wait for connecting service to Andorra, but it looks like they are now on their way. Let's check live. We can have a little look here, and yes, they seem to be on their way now. That is probably the same vehicle. Oh, look at that. There's a place called Bram. I need everyone to go to Bram. Stop what you're doing. Additional checkpoint. I'm calling it now. Let's all go to Bram. Can we set that up? I would love everyone to come to Bram, and maybe we'll have a reunion there. How about that? The other thing that I've been having a look at is the points classification. So if I zoom back out on the map and have a look at where everyone is, so let's turn everyone back on, and let's see the long path. That's not everyone. So I'm belatedly coming to the realization that this is actually a sailing tracking thing. That's why it's called tack tracker. I don't know why it took me that long to work it out. And also, all of the shapes on the standard tracker are shapes of boats, and they count the number of tacks. I'm not a nautically minded individual, so I can't tell you exactly what all of the thinking is or what it all means. But essentially, we are using a bit of sailing software to track the race. And if you're seeing all of these straight lines, by the way, that just means that there's a gap. Obviously, when you're on a train, that's a Faraday cage. You don't get a clear line of sight to the satellites, and so it has to piece together. You came from this point, you ended up in that point. We're going to draw a straight line and assume that you moved at a steady speed there. So it's not as if people are flying or anything. Don't worry about that. So looking at the points classification, you can see a whole bunch of people kind of up in this section trying to see if they can cobble together the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg in a fairly swift way. And you can see the Moriarty crew making a very fast work of Germany. I don't think anyone's ever crossed Germany that fast in the Lupine race, hopefully without any delays, but that looks very swift indeed. And they went all the way to Vienna, and and then they might have dropped off a bit, but I think they made it to the Czech Republic, it looks like. And I'm not sure if I have their current location, but it looks like they're going to hit Bratislava next. So that is a really efficient work there. And it could be that this team is now in the lead, but we also have a self-reported leaderboard. And on the self-reported leaderboard, we can see that. Bear with me one moment. I'm just going to set that up for you. In the meantime, have a look at the weather update again. Actually works. Still finding my feet a little bit. Where was it? Don't think it was that one. Okay, and we're back on the map view. I'm just going to take a moment to zoom in on what is going on there. So you'll recall that most of the field were stuck in Bayonne, and then they had to make their way to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which is not that straightforward to get to late on a Saturday. So that was a morning job. And then I think most of them went back to Bayonne to continue their journey to San Sebastian. I have to say, there are other options. I would like someone to try that. The timing might be a little wonky, but it's one of the ones that you cannot find on Google Maps. So there is a different way out of here. I'm going to try and not to put spoiler alerts out there, but there are other ways out of this that don't involve backtracking to France. So yeah, give me a shout if you found it and you're going to do that next. In the meantime, over here close to Bram, we see that they've not gone for Bram. That's a real shame. So we see Fernando, Andrew, and David. I think that's Chalky's butcher, making their way towards Andorra. I think they probably wanted to get there a good deal earlier than they will now. The good thing is in Andorra, my understanding is that the challenge is pretty straightforward. So, with a bit of luck, they'll be able to continue their journey very swiftly upon arrival. And if the timings line up, they should be able to get out of there quite swiftly. Over here in Palma de Mallorca, let's have a look. So they are now going to get off a ferry in a bit, and then they have to cross the island. Good news is there are buses that run there. Otherwise, that could be a bit of a dead end, and it'd be a shame to have to go back to Barcelona to go to Palma if there wasn't a bus or anything serving that. So my understanding is they're going to go to Palma, and then there must be ferries serving Valencia from there. So they look to be in a pretty good position, this crew. One of the things that might not be on your radar is it's not necessarily a given that when you are on a ferry that you will have an internet connection. So that would be something that even if I thought this was a good thing to do timing wise, being incommunicado for that stretch where you're crossing a section of the Mediterranean, that is something that you need to think about. Because if you're hoping to plan your onward travel from Valencia through Spain, well, you might need to book tickets, you might need to set up reservations, you might need to double check the timings, etc. That is going to be pretty challenging if you are on a boat. So hopefully they've used that time to get rest, but use the stay in Barcelona to really get the lion's share of that planning out of the way ahead of time. Also, want to have a quick look over here. Who is in Toulon? We see Nige and June over there. They are, of course, a team. And is there traffic in Chamonix? Perhaps not entirely clear from the tracker as we have it right now. We have various folks on their way, still in Paris or on their way from Paris towards Bordeaux as well. And we have country counters roaming the map. Excellent. So that's where we are. I just wanted to see if anyone else wanted to dial in. If so, give me a shout. The chat is open and I can send you a link and then it'd be great to talk to you. If not, I'll probably do another one later this evening and see who's online then. Because obviously on our bus, it's a little bit tricky to talk. So Joe, if later would suit you a bit better, no worries. I'll be right here and bringing the story as the race unfolds. So one more quick look at the points classification. could hear me loud and clear. That certainly was the intention, and hopefully, I'm getting to grips with this technology a bit better than I have before. But it's been a pleasure, and hopefully, next time we can get some actual racers on the line. So, if you are watching this, and at any point you feel like you might be able to hop on a quick broadcast, let me know, and I'll be very happy to facilitate that. The other thing that we're playing with is the idea of a quiz or something else interactive that folks might be able to dial in. I think I can accommodate something like 12 or 16 guests on the line at a time. So very happy to make that a reality if folks are interested. So thanks very much. That concludes this broadcast, and I thank you for watching. We'll be online later. I'll try and advise ahead of time when that is going to be. Thank you very much, and speak to you later. Bye bye.